Hello and welcome to my side of the bag. I'm Drew Hinesley, joined as always by my co-host, Scottie Worldwide. Scottie Worldwide, how you doing and where are you today?
I'm doing good, Drew. I am coming from lovely Calgary, Alberta, Canada, on site here for the CPKC Women's Open up at Earl Grey Golf Club. It is Monday, so I went and saw the golf course today. Working for Jennifer Chang this week. She gets in later. I imagine we'll have a full day tomorrow, but yeah, no, I've never been to Calgary before, so super excited about this week. And as you can kind of see, it's a beautiful Canadian summer day here. So super excited.
Years ago, Sports Illustrated did a poll of NHL players, and Calgary was their favorite city to go to because there was a very famous country and western bar that the teams would visit after games. Do you know about that country and western bar? And if you know about it, have you visited?
I know nothing about Calgary. I know nowhere to go. I know nowhere to go eat. In fact, I got in yesterday and DoorDashed a Greek sandwich. Tells you all I need to know about what how much I know about Calgary. So hopefully, maybe tonight, walk down the street and find a good place to eat. So
Well, I think in the write up, and again, this was 25 years ago, but I think part of the write up was the teams loved going there because they could always work on their fighting skills because there were plenty of cowboys there in Western Canada that were more than happy to take a few swings at them after having a couple of pints.
well, that sounds right. That sounds the cowboy lifestyle. So I'm going to show up on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I think I'm going to keep the boots and cowboy hats at home and just go to maybe some place to get some good routine this week.
All right, so you're in Calgary this week with Jennifer Chang, but I really want to focus on what you've been doing the previous couple weeks. You were hired by the former number one amateur in the world, Ingrid Lillibad, and I'd love for you to talk about that and your experience in France working the Evian Championship with her.
Yeah, so happy to speak with that, and thanks for mentioning that. We definitely had a good time, but no, I've had somewhat of a relationship now with Ingrid for 2 years. Obviously, from following golf, knew who she was, knew that she was going to be a world beater, followed her career at LSU. But it kind of all started last year at British Open qualifying. She made it. The player I was caddying for did not make it. But I knew Patrick because I had worked for Linnea Johansson. Patrick is the representative of Team Sweden and the Sweden Golf Association, basically, or the Golf Federation, I should say. And he looked at me and, I think he liked the job that I was doing with Linnea and knew that, I, just worked my tail off and tried to do the right things and didn't piss enough people off. So he said basically, hey, Ingrid just got in and qualified. Her dad pushed her bag today on a pull Charlie cart. There's no way we're getting that thing around Walton Heath. Would you like to work? And I jumped at the opportunity. I was going to be over there anyways. We ended up not making the cut. We played actually pretty good golf. It's just one of those rounds where, we hit like 15 greens each day and shot 2 over each day. Just couldn't make anything. So, but always kept in touch. Obviously, after I worked for her, we, have information and followed, her last and final year over at LSU. She went to stage 2 qualifying, won stage 2 qualifying, which gave her exemptions on the Epson Tour, elected to not to go to qualifying finals, to go back to school and try to win a national championship. Fell a little short in that goal, but 3 or 4 weeks ago, now turned pro. Played in 2 Epson events, 1 miscut and 1 T2, and then got on a plane and went over to Evian and asked me to come with her. And, we had a great week. We started off, shot 7 under the first round, and just kind of grinded it out. Ended up, I think T26 was what we finished at, kind of ran out a little bit of a gas, I think. And as anyone that knows Evian or has been to Evian, you get some great shots and get some horrible bounces. Just go look at Lexi's post, and I'll just keep it at that. So you always don't get rewarded by hitting the right golf shots. But, it was a really good week, first professional event as a professional. This is her seventh major she's played in now. And I'm certainly blessed to work for her and to call her a boss. Next week I'll be with her again in Portland. Yeah, no, she's a world beater. And, you know, this specifically, I think the thing about Ingrid that I can see that players that I've worked for versus her is she is just not scared of anything. She has all the confidence in the world to hit any golf shot, and nothing scares her or nothing frightens her. And I think that's going to take her a long way. And you're going to be hearing a lot from Ingrid Lindblad for the next, I think, 15, 20 years if she chooses to make this a long career.
Well, a lot of American fans were introduced to her when she was a 36-hole leader at the U.S. Open at Pine Needles 2 years ago, and ended up with a great finish there, and has played in a lot of majors already as an amateur, now playing her first as a professional. And I believe you guys held the 36-hole lead as well as the 18-hole lead, and before the T26 finish. So you're with her the rest of the year, starting in Portland next week. I know you're with Jennifer this week. So how are you working all these
Yeah.
different employment opportunities?
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, she doesn't have full-time status on the LPGA because you would have to go to final stage to do that. So she's kind of relegated to invites, which she got one from Evian, and then Portland gave her an invite too. So she's basically has to play, well, not has to, gets to play the Epson Tour based on her finish at stage 2. So her agent reached out, knew that we had a relationship, and basically said, hey, like Scottie, Ingrid likes you, Ingrid wants to work with you. You know, would you mind staying with her and doing Epson events with her? And we worked out the terms, and yeah, it's all good. So excited to get in that top 15. So automatically would get her a LPGA card, or we just win next week in Portland. So either one, I'm good with.
Okay, and so Jennifer Chang in Canada this week.
Correct.
And what does the rest of the season look like for you?
Yeah, no, I intend to stay with Ingrid. Obviously, it wasn't necessarily the easiest choice, leaving, you know, the higher purses and the money on the LPGA tour, but I really believe in Ingrid. I think she's going to do everything she wants to accomplish in this game, and to be honored to be considered to be even part of that team is something that I couldn't miss. And again, I'm not going to be playing for $5-8 million every week. But, you know, a chance to get some flags and get her to where she needs to go excites me, and I'm all in.
How many more Epson Tour events until the end of the season, and top 15 is your goal?
Top 15, because that would give top 10 all get cards, and then there's 5 additional cards that go in a back category to those top 10. So top 10 is obviously the goal. Worst case, top 35 is exempt into final stage qualifying. So that would be absolute, I think, worst case. I think in the 3 of Epson events now she's already 45th on the points list. So, and you asked how many events left. I looked at it the other day, but I want to say 8 maybe events are left. So basically all of September. There's a couple in August. And then they're actually doing the final one in Palm Springs now. They moved it from where it previously was at. I want to say somewhere in Florida. They're going to play out in Palm Springs now in October.
So the goal is to get Ingrid an LPGA card where she will start on the LPGA Tour in January of 25. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, and if you follow this and you're in the weeds like we are and know about certain statuses, that's actually a really good card. That card now goes priority wise before number 81 through 100 on the LPGA. So that card is gets you in basically everything but majors.
So unlike the PGA Tour, where guys are keeping their cards yet not getting to play as many events as they'd like, if you come off the Epson Tour, which is the Korn Ferry Tour for the men, the Epson Tour, I think, has better status on the LPGA than the Korn Ferry graduates will have on the PGA.
That is correct. Now, we can have another show and another segment, whether that's right or wrong, and debate that, but that's how it currently is. So, yeah, I think those 10 that come off Epson do go before 81 through 100. They come right after top 80.
Okay, final thoughts on your work schedule the rest of the year, because I know you like to take like 2 vacations a month. So it sounds like your work schedule is going to start cutting into your vacation schedule.
Yeah, well, me and the missus have had some good vacations. We were in Chicago for a little bit, and then we just spent a week in Palm Springs. I kind of needed a rest. My back was hurting. I'm getting old, Drew, so I needed some heat and some pool time to get my young self ready to go on another long stretch. But I'm back. I'm ready, working this week, and excited about it. I'll obviously miss a couple events, but I should be back because that schedule an Epson ends that first week in October. So I think I can still do the Arkansas event, and then would be available and being able to work basically all of October and November. So excited for that.
Well, we wish you the best of luck this week with Jennifer, and of course, next week with Ingrid in Portland and beyond on the Epson Tour, aiming for a top 10 finish. And we're starting 45 ish with 8 events to go. I like your chances.
Yeah, we'll just see. You put the ball in the ground and hit it and go find it and see how they all add up at the end of the day, and that's all you can do. So,
Well, knowing and seeing firsthand what she did at Pine Needles in a U.S. Open, I imagine there's not going to be too many Epson courses that are going to scare her. And you already said she plays pretty fearless. So I like what I'm hearing and what I expect to see out of you the rest of this summer and this fall with Ingrid. Scotty, any final thoughts before we wrap this show?
no, just I think it just goes to show you, for the people that are in the weeds that like we need a LPGAU on just like the PGA Tour has. I mean, look what it's done for Ludwig. Um, Certainly, what it would have done for Rose, what it would have done for Ingrid. Like, if there is ever a time where there's a bigger, what the statement we made at Evian, the statement that Ingrid made 2 years ago at Pine Needles, the statement that Rose made, come out and win her first event in Mizuho, and now a two-time winner. Like, hello, like we need a LPGAU.
Well, and they have the made for TV event, the East Lake Cup, where you get the previous year's semifinalists on TV in the fall. And I think one of the great things for me is I get to see guys up close that I know are part of that PGA Tour U, and I can kind of say these are 2 or 3 guys I'd like to introduce myself to. And there's no reason we can't have the same thing on the women's side. The PGA U is an answer to live, but I think we've seen in its first 2 or 3 years how good it is for these young talented players to take a little stress off the beginning of their career, and no reason we can't do it on the women's side.
I agree. If there's one thing that I'm screaming from the fences for Molly, let's get this done.
Absolutely. I think maybe if she watches this show, maybe that plants a seed and it starts to grow a little bit closer to actuality, and we actually see it in practice very, very soon.
I'm hoping, Drew, and whether it helps me, whether it helps Ingrid or anyone else, like there's some young talents that need to be on our tour, and it's how we build stars and build them younger and younger on this tour. There's no reason we don't have it.
Well, and the thing it also does for the students while still in college is it gives them a little bit of an idea of what their path is going to be once they turn pro. And now with NIL, it makes them more attractive to sponsors while in college because they know they're going to still be able to have a showcase with these players. So it's not just going to be, here while you're in town in Lubbock, Texas, or in Los Angeles at UCLA or USC. You're actually going to have a chance for like an Amari Avery, who you know very well. They know that Amari is going to get X amount of starts on the LPGA. So the investment they're making in her, they're going to continue to get payback on that down the road. And again, for some of these young guys coming out in PGA Tour U, it's just giving them a little bit of certainty as to what their summer is going to look like post graduation and finishing out their college career. And again, if we can do it for the guys, we can certainly do it for the young women in the game.
Totally agree.
All right, Scotty, thanks for your time. Thanks for coming to us from the West Coast up in Calgary. Have fun this week at the Canadian Open. And guys, thanks for joining us on another episode of My Side of the Bag.